Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. In this paper, we have 3 modules on the current status of environment in India. In these 3 modules, we will be discussing about different environmental matrices. In this particular module, we will be discussing the air and water status in India. You know, air and water are very important for the existence of life, but the situation is not very good with respect to these natural resources in India, and there is a immediate need of the interventions to prevent the further deterioration of the air quality as well as of our water resources. In this module, we will be discussing about the current status, and in other papers we will be discussing that how different interventions can be used to improve the quality of air and quality of water. With this background, the learning objective of this module are to discuss the air quality in India and to discuss water distribution and water related issues in India. India is one of the fastest growing country in the world in terms of population and industrial development, but our motherland is perforated with a number of environmental distresses or environmental issues. Current situation of environment in India is not very satisfactory. Various national and international agencies and various surveys have also declared, or based upon the results of those surveys, it can be inferred that India is one of the poor and backward country in terms of efficiency and environmental management. This is really a serious concern, and we have to do something to improve our situation at global level with respect to environmental pollution or environmental issues. This table shows that as per the Numbeo, the world's largest database of user contributed data about cities and countries worldwide, the pollution index of India is 71, that is very high, and declared it as one among the most polluted countries. This is really very saddening. The index for different parameters is given in this table. If you look for air pollution, the pollution index is 68.9 out of 100, and condition says that this is very high. As far as dissatisfaction with garbage disposal or solid waste disposal is concerned, the pollution index value is 68.84, that is also on higher side. If we come to the dirtiness and untidiness, the pollution index value is 64.2, that is also on higher side. If we look at water pollution, the pollution index of India is 68.98, that is also on higher side. If we see dissatisfaction to spend time in the cities, the index value of this is 62.9, and this is also on the higher side. With respect to drinking water pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, and dissatisfaction with green and parks in the cities, the situation is comparatively better and the condition is moderate. Environmental Performance Index 2018 produced jointly by Yale University and Columbia University in collaboration with the World Economic Forum, India ranks 177th, very low out of one country, and overall score of India was 30.57 out of 100. If you see environmental health, our rank is 180th, air quality rank is 178th, water and sanitation rank is 145th, heavy metal pollution index is 175th, ecosystem vitality index is 140, biodiversity and habitat index is 139, air pollution index is 131. So, from this table we can find out that at global level we are far below than many other countries in the list of environmental performance index. And this data also again shows, and this data also indicate that there is an urgent need of interventions with respect to environmental conservation, environmental management. Let me come to air quality in India. In India, air pollution is one of the major challenges to sustainable development. As per research data given by Global Burden of Disease, approximately 3,283 Indians died per day due to outdoor air pollution in India in 2015. As per International Energy Agency, approximately 9 lakh premature deaths in the country by 2040 have been estimated due to drastic rise in air pollution. The World Bank also estimates that India loses around 3% of its GDP due to air pollution. India is also home to 11 out of 20 of the most polluted cities in terms of air pollution in the entire world. This is as per US EPA report 2015. The picture is really scary. This table shows the status of air pollution in India as compared to other countries. In this table you will find that in China the PM 2.5 level in the ambient airs have decreased by 17% from 2010 to 2015, whereas in India PM 2.5 has increased by 13% in the ambient air. Similarly, in United States it has decreased by 15%, and in European Union countries it has decreased by 20%. If we come to the number of monitoring stations, in China there are 1,500 air pollution monitoring stations. In US there are 770 air monitoring stations, and European Union there are about 1,000 air pollution monitoring stations, but in India we have only 87 air pollution monitoring stations. Here also immediate investment is required to increase the number of air monitoring stations. Let me have a look on the annual PM 2.5 levels in the capital city of different countries. In China, annual PM 2.5 in capital city has been found 81 microgram per meter cube, whereas in India it has been found 128 microgram per meter cube, whereas in United States the level of PM 2.5 in the capital city was just 12 microgram per meter cube. So, this shows that the level of air pollution is increasing and the level is quite high as compared to the other developed and developing nations. The status of air pollution in India 2015-16 is compiled by the Greenpeace Environment Trust by covering the cities with a population of 630 million, or you can say 53% of the total population of the country. As per Greenpeace Environment Trust report, out of 630 million Indians covered by the data, 550 million lived in areas exceeding national standards for PM 10. The largest numbers of people in areas with more than twice the stipulated levels of pollution are in Uttar Pradesh. The number of population is about 64 millions that is living in the higher levels of PM 10, followed by Rajasthan, then Maharashtra, then Delhi, and then Bihar. Means we can say that in the major states of India, people, a huge population is residing in the ambient environment that is having higher levels of PM 10 particulate matter. The most are children under 5 years of age living in areas where the standard is exceeded more than twice are also in Uttar Pradesh, followed by Rajasthan, followed by Bihar, then Maharashtra, then Delhi. 580 million Indians live in districts with no air quality data available, including 59 million children under 5 years of age. Real-time data with respect to ambient air is available for only 190 million Indians or 16% of the total population of the country. After Delhi, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh have the highest coverage of real-time data monitoring. While 23 states have no real-time data available to the public. The largest number of people living in areas with no data is Uttar Pradesh, followed by Bihar, then Madhya Pradesh and then Rajasthan. This figure shows the top 10 most polluted city with higher concentrations of PM10. These cities are Delhi, Faridabad, Bhiwandi, Patna, Ghaziabad, Muzaffarpur, Amritsar, Jharia, Gurgaon and Firozabad. Out of these 10 cities, you will be surprised to know that 4 are in NCR region, and these are Delhi, Faridabad, Ghaziabad and Gurgaon. Means we can say the situation is worse in the national capital region with respect to PM10 levels in the ambient air. Apart from the PM10 levels, the status of sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides and PM2.5 is also very high in the country. The setup of the coal-based thermal power plant emissions play a very significant role in the increase of PM2.5 levels across the country through secondary particulate formation from sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. The states of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh showed very high sulfur dioxide emission in 2015. Similarly, the nitrogen dioxide emission is also reported higher in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. And you know that about 70% of the electricity in the country is produced making the use of coal. National Air Quality Monitoring Program. Central Pollution Control Board is executing a nationwide program of ambient air quality monitoring known as National Air Quality Monitoring Program. The network consists of 683 operating stations covering 300 cities or towns in 26 states and 4 union territories of the country. The objective of this project are to determine status and trends of ambient air quality, to ascertain whether the prescribed ambient air quality standards are violated or not, to identify known attainment cities, to obtain the knowledge and understanding necessary for developing preventive and corrective measures, and to understand the natural cleansing process undergoing in the environment through pollution, dilution, dispersion, wind-based movement, dry deposition, precipitation and chemical transformation of pollutants generated. Under this project, 4 air pollutants, namely sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen as NO2, respirable suspended particulate matter, that is RSPM, PM10, and fine particulate matter, PM2.5, have been identified for regular monitoring. The monitoring of pollutants is carried out for 24 hours, that is 4-hourly sampling for gaseous pollutants and 8-hourly sampling for particulate matter, with a frequency of twice a week to have 104 observations in a year. The monitoring is carried out with the help of Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Boards, Pollution Control Committees, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, that is NEERI, Nagpur. Let me discuss now water related issues. You know, water is very important for the existence of life. Life cannot be predicted without water. Life appeared for the first time even in the water. Growing population coupled with agricultural, industrial and infrastructural development put an increasing pressure on water resources. The irregularity of rainfall and uneven distribution water resources and their modification through human creates situation of water crisis in many parts of the world, including India. In India, the major water resources are classified as inland water resources, which include rivers and canals, reservoirs, tanks, lakes, ponds, lakes and derelict water bodies and brackish water. The total length of rivers and canals is about 1,95,095 kilometer, and the area of other water bodies like reservoirs, tanks, ponds, floodplain lakes, derelict water bodies, brackish water is about 7.31 million hectare. This table shows the length of different rivers and canals in different Indian states and union territories. The length of rivers and canals is less than 500 kilometer in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Chandigarh, Delhi, Goa and Pondicherry. Whereas in Sikkim, the length of rivers and canals is in the range of 500 to 999 kilometer. In the states of Mizoram, Nagaland and Tripura, the length of rivers is 1000 to 2000 kilometers, whereas in the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Kerala, Manipur, Odisha, Uttarakhand and West Bengal, the length of rivers and canals is in the range of 2000 to 5000 kilometer. In Haryana, Karnataka, Meghalaya, Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu, the length of rivers and canals is 5000 to 10,000 kilometer, whereas in Andhra Pradesh this is in the range of 10,000 to 15,000 kilometer, whereas in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Punjab, the length of rivers and canals is 15,000 to 25,000 kilometer, and in Jammu Kashmir and Uttar Pradesh, the length of rivers and canals is more than 25,000 kilometers. Let me have a look on the rainfall in India. India is one of the wettest country in the world, but the rainfall in India is highly variable. The number of rainy days in India is approximately 40. In India, the rainfall is one of the major sources of natural water, but rainfall is highly variable in time and space. Over 75% of annual rainfall is received in 4 rainy months of June to September, only thereby leading to large variations on temporal scale. The average annual rainfall is 119 centimeter, but it has great spatial variation. During monsoon, you will find that there are flood situations in the northeast, whereas in Rajasthan you will find desert, you will find drought situation during the monsoons. So, the rainfall is highly variable with respect to space. The areas on the Western Ghats and the sub-Himalayan areas in northeast and Meghalaya hills receive heavy rainfall of over 250 centimeter annually, whereas the areas of northern parts of Kashmir and western Rajasthan receive rainfall less than 40 centimeter. This figure shows the rainfall data of India in the last 50 years. Here you will find that in 1950 to 1960 decade, the average rainfall in the country was more than 1250 mm, but in 2011 to 2017 period, the average rainfall is about 1120 mm. So, one thing is evident from this figure, that except one aberration in 1990 to 2000 decade, most of the time the rainfall is decreasing with time. This is also a serious concern. Interventions are required at this level, because if we did not improve our environment, there may be shortage of water in near future. After rainfall, let me have a look on the groundwater status of India. If we see the use of groundwater in India, about 89% of groundwater extracted is used in the irrigation sector or in the agriculture sector. This is mainly due to irregularity of rainfall, as well as intensive agriculture in recent years have also added to it. As per the reports of the Central Groundwater Board, Ministry of Water Resources in India, most of the states, about 40 to 50% of groundwater resources are in danger zone. In the states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and Rajasthan, the rapid depletion of groundwater is one of the biggest threat to the food security and livelihood. According to news reports, excessive exploitation of limited groundwater resources for irrigation of cash crops such as sugarcane, rice and wheat has caused a 6 percentage point decline in the availability of water within 10 meters from ground level. In the southeastern parts of the country, the groundwater is also on worse hit due to low rainfall and drought. It has been pointed out by the Central Groundwater Board, nearly 60% of all districts in the country have issues related to either availability of groundwater or quality of groundwater or both. This table shows different states and districts affected by geogenic contamination. Geogenic contamination is that contamination that is arising from the earth or from the rocks in groundwater. According to this data, that about 10 states and 68 districts of these states are affected by the arsenic problem. About 20 states and 276 districts of these states are affected by the excessive levels of fluoride in the drinking water. About 21 states and 387 districts of these states are facing the higher nitrate levels in the groundwater, and 387 districts of 24 states are also facing the higher levels of iron in the groundwater. And there is another problem with these pollutants. These pollutants neither impart any color nor any odor to the water. In case these are not monitored at later stage, these may be very harmful, because as there is no odor or taste, as a result of that people will continue to consuming these groundwater, and they will come to know about the effects of the pollutants only once the effects appears in the human beings or in other forms of life. One example of this is arsenic, because people did not know and no monitoring facilities were there for the arsenic about 3-4 decades back, and we came to know about the arsenic contamination of drinking water in West Bengal in 1980s to 1990s only. Similar is the situation with respect to fluoride. The dental fluorosis is very common in the state of Haryana, Punjab and this Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh. The higher levels of arsenic above the permissible levels of 50 ppb are found in the alluvial plains of Ganges covering 6 districts of West Bengal. The area of southwest Punjab and some districts also reported from the uranium contaminated groundwater. Fluoride contamination more than 1.5 milligram per liter in groundwater is widely prevailing in different parts of the country, mostly in the states of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Punjab and Haryana. Salinity in groundwater is found mainly in western, northwestern and southern parts of India. Inland salinity caused by high sulfate in groundwater has also been reported from some parts of the country. The overpumping of groundwater is also increasing the salinity of water in the states of Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Odisha, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Higher levels of iron in groundwater more than 1 milligram per liter have been reported from several states. Pollution due to human and animal waste and fertilizer application has resulted in higher levels of nitrates and potassium in groundwater in some parts of the country. Nitrate is a new kind of pollutant that has emerged due to excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer in the agricultural fields. This table shows the number of districts in different states with heavy metal contaminated groundwater. You will find that in Haryana almost all the districts have lead in their groundwater. Similarly, in Madhya Pradesh 12 districts, in Maharashtra 19 districts and in Uttar Pradesh 10 districts have higher concentrations of lead, and if more and more monitoring studies are carried out, only then picture will be clear. Cadmium levels more than the permissible limit have been reported from 8 districts of Punjab, and similarly higher levels of chromiums have been reported from 5 districts of Tamil Nadu and 5 districts of Uttar Pradesh. Here more monitoring studies are required to get a clear picture of the situation. After groundwater, let us discuss river pollution in India. India has 3 major river systems: Indus river system, Ganges river system and Brahmaputra river system. These river systems originate from the snow peaks of Himalayas. All the 3 river systems have been reported suffering from pollution and have crossed the mark of crisis. These 3 basins accommodate the maximum populated areas of the world. In southern India, river Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna and Mahanadi are also highly polluted. Policies for controlling river and water pollution. First, let we look Ganga Action Plan. Ganga Action Plan was launched by late the then Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi in 1986 to reduce the pollution load of the river Ganga. The main objectives were to free river Ganga from dumping of waste by the cities along the river bank. In 2009, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change declared Ganga as national river and constituted National Ganga River Basin Authority under the chairmanship of Prime Minister. Under this mission, Clean Ganga 2020 program was launched. At present, Namami Ganga program is going on in the country to clean the river Ganga. Namami Ganga program is an integrated conservation mission approved as flagship program of the Union government since June 2014 with budget outlay of rupees 20,000 crores to accomplish the twin objectives of effective abatement of pollution, conservation and rejuvenation of national river Ganga. Main pillars of Namami Ganga program are, or the main programs started under Namami Ganga program are sewage treatment infrastructure development, river front development, river surface cleaning and Ganga biodiversity conservation. Like Namami Ganga program Yamuna Action Plan has also been started to clean the river Yamuna. Yamuna Action Plan was launched in April 1993 under Ganga Action Plan Phase 2 to take up water restoration measures of Yamuna river. Yamuna Action Plan was also followed in different phases. The main objective of Yamuna Action Plan Phase 1 was to construct sewage treatment plants, to construct low-cost toilet complexes and to have pumping stations in the riverbank cities of Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi. Later, the Government of India started Yamuna Action Plan Phase 2 in 2004 to cover other pollution related issues of the river. To summarize this module, in this module we have studied the status of air pollution in India. We studied water quality issues in India. Among water quality issues, we studied about rainfall, we studied about groundwater, we studied about river water systems, and we also studied the different programs undertaken by Government of India to clean our rivers. In addition to this, we also studied the status of water availability in India. I hope you enjoyed this module. Thank you.